What is going on? Tgreenman in the house. Let me fix my hair a little bit. Looking like Scruff McGruff. I need to hop in the shower here in a minute. So, today's video, let me fix my hair while I'm talking to you, is about obsession. Like me obsessing over my hair while talking about this video. So, what is obsession? Well, obviously we know about what obsession is on the general terms. I'm not going to define it because there's a dictionary and you guys all have Google, so you can look it up. But what am I going to go? I'm going to actually talk about the behaviors, because I think a lot of people are, have behaviors of obsession and don't even know it. Some of us are obsessed with what we watch on TV. Some of us are obsessed with people. Some of us are obsessed with behaviors. Some of us are obsessed with drugs. Some of us are obsessed with life. There's a lot of things you could be obsessed with. But what is the really behavior we're focusing on is the actual obsession. So, what triggers these obsessions? Obviously I'm not a medical professional, so I can't give you the 100%. I can give you what I've seen or researched and looked around on. But without being a medical professional or going to school and doing all the things that necessary to understand those cognitive behaviors that, create the reactions inside the brain, I'd have to go to school. What I can give you, though, is a personal experience of my own struggles and also experiences I've watched of obsession and how I've related it to my life and how it's helped me. So obviously, I struggle with obsession. I'm a very obsessive person in a lot of different ways. I obsess with simple things like, one of my things for like cleaning, for instance, is I like shelves. I set things on shelves or things like that. I'm not really a drawer person. I hate putting stuff in drawers. So that's one of my like cleaning things. And then like, I am obsessed with controlling my life. I'm obsessed with, I don't like to have to try new things. I do it all the time, but I really don't like to. I've learned to become better at it as being a Buddhist because through my Buddhist perception, I've learned to do things outside of my normality. So things I wouldn't normally react and do, I've learned through my Buddhist practice to change that. Because I've realized by doing the same behaviors, you become obsessed with your own behavior. And that's a very scary one because when you're obsessed with who you are as a person, you're not really willing to change yourself because you're so obsessed with the way you do everything. You feel like everything you do is above everyone else, or like, why isn't everyone else doing it this way? But what we tend to not see is that on the outside, we're not actually having anything happen in our own lives. So where we have our own grandiose inside of ourselves and we give ourselves our own snacks, as we call it, or whatever, spiritual snacks, or however you want to interpret it, we keep doing what we're doing and we keep staying the way we do. But the people on the outside see something completely different. Now, for anyone watching this video who wants to question that, if everybody on the outside of your life is telling you to change something, usually it's time to change something. That's just a fact. Everyone on the outside doesn't usually tell you these things unless it's the truth. Not that many people are out there to get you. That's another thing. You have to think logically. Do you really think people are out there to get you? I mean, if people are responding to you and your behaviors, what are you doing that's creating those behaviors? I know it's easy to obsess on everybody else. That's one thing that a lot of people do too, is obsess with pointing blame outside of themselves. I'm going to be real honest here. And this is going to be really hard for a lot of people watching this, especially if you're some kind of victim of a violent crime. But the fact of the matter is, we're responsible for everything that happens to us. Unfortunately, we are. Even as a child, unfortunately, we are. And it's a hard pill to swallow. But that's okay. Responsibility and those things don't make you a bad person or someone who doesn't do anything in life. What it makes you is somebody who's actually been given a gift to understand what that happens. Because first off, no one can go through life with everything going the way they want. That's just not the way life works. And if it did, then why would life be worth living? You know, the physical existence, as you've heard me talk about existence, is to grow. So us as people have to grow. If everything's given to you, you're never going to grow because you're not going to have the willingness to grow. Like I have a friend, for instance, who everything is given to this person. His housing is taken care of. His food's taken care of. He doesn't ever have to, and his parents don't challenge him on anything. So he constantly does what he thinks is right because nobody's there to tell him he's wrong. And he can't handle confrontation, so he continues to just follow what he creates rather than going out and finding people to help him become a better person. So because of this, he's still in the same place he's been in for, I've known this guy since we were kids, and he's almost in the same position as he was when he was a kid. And he's 30-something years old. You know, so that should show you how deep obsession gets. Obsession gets to a point where you start acting a certain way and you're so obsessed with being the way you are that you don't change yourself. And you're like, and it gets to a point where you go so far in that you're lost because you've been on that path for so long. When you dedicate your life for so many years, you don't want to give up on it. And that's a huge human problem. And I think that's even in normal life with work. A lot of people become obsessed with working and going and doing the same job over and over and over and over again. You know, and they stay doing it. They never want to change. So what am I here to tell you? How am I going to tell you my own personal experience actually helped me? Well, this is going to be the hardest part for a lot of people to watch this. You have to change. That's the only way to fix obsession. If you're obsessed with something, you have to do something that's contrary to your obsession. Like if you're obsessed with a woman, for instance, and it's just one woman, you go out and find a different woman. Or just stop talking to women all in general. But the best way to stop an obsession is to do something contrary to that obsession. But the first part of that is you have to identify the obsession. Now, chances are, if you're getting the same results over and over and over and over again, and you're the one taking actions into that's creating the results that you're getting over and over again, usually that means you have to change the actions to get different results. That's just the reality of life. And if you don't change those reactions, that's insanity. Because you're doing the same thing over and over and getting the same results, which is also obsession. Obsession is insanity. So if you're obsessed on something, or you're adoring or admiring something, and the other side isn't showing that admiration in return, but you keep admiring and forcing on it, that's obsession. That's what that is. So what's the healthy option to that? Like I was saying before, and I'll repeat it again, change the action. Change what you're doing. You know, and again, this is my personal experience. I can't tell you that this is what a therapist or somebody is going to tell you, but I can tell you from my own personal experience that it works. Another thing, like responsive behavior, because usually someone who's obsessed with behaviors in general, they're also obsessed with their own, you know, internal struggles. Usually, you know, like with me, for instance, someone will make me mad about something and I won't be able to shut that anger off, or I won't be able to shut that feeling off, and I'll just constantly keep running over this thing over and over again, knowing it's not going to change the effect, and all it's doing is making me angrier and making it harder for me to function. But I can't get it out of my head. What do? I like to do something called grounding. I think about what's around me. I start thinking about the soft bed. I start thinking about the wood table. I start thinking about the ceiling and the texture of the ceiling. I start thinking about other things that deviate my mind from thinking about behavior. And if you do that enough, it tends to relieve those thoughts. So that's something I try doing rather than staying focused on how I feel. Because if you stay focused on how you feel and that's all you focus on, it's like microscoping on yourself, and all you're doing is just do something, change. You can't unless you actually change the actual behavior and action. You're going to stay where you are. So, you know, these are just simple tools that I see in life that I feel can help us, and also a very deep subject that I see amongst people around me as well as myself. So I just wanted to give you guys, an idea of what I feel obsession is. How many minutes are we in? 10 minutes. And things I do to kind of get myself out of it. And I'm hoping that some people can watch this and get some understanding from it, and hopefully it'll help you too. So, with that being said, peace.